Okay, we have Melissa Johnson here. She's going to talk to us about intuition, harnessing your built in superpower for everyday miracles. She's an intuitive visionary healer and abundance coach with the specialty of uncovering the blocks and patterns that keep you from living your most abundant life, doing the things you truly love doing. Drawing from her deep connections to cosmic intelligence, Melissa blends her passion for entrepreneurs and business coaching together with a unique blend of techniques with provided that help provide emotional freedom and subconscious mindset reprogramming. Some of my favorite stuff. So you don't have to hold yourself back any longer. So, when you're navigating a major life transition, looking for intuitive guidance to help you uncover your unique mission and calling in this lifetime, Melissa helps you break free from unfulfilling jobs and relationships to follow your yes and answer the calling of your destiny. So,
Thank you for the
thank you
wonderful
for being here.
introduction. I appreciate it. I'm so excited to connect with you and yeah, thank you for having me aboard.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of us in this space are wanting to use intuition. So, in your from your perspective, in what ways can you use intuition?
I think that I think that the majority of people have an understanding that intuition, and this does happen, it arises during those life-changing moments where you take the road and it happens to save your life, and all of that is true. But what we fail to understand is that it's sort of this built-in GPS to help you get to your destinations quicker, faster, and easier. And as long as we know how to pick up on the signals, and as long as we know really highly intelligent questions to ask, it can guide us to spring forward in ways that we couldn't have logically calculated ourselves because it knows the way forward. So everything from business decisions to hiring the right lawyer to knowing what salon to go to get the right haircut, small and big things. It's this everyday thing that you can tap into as much as you're willing to kind of play and trust yourself on following through on those.
Mhm. I use it for everything. Everything. And I mean, when I'm thinking of intuition, one of the things that I find important in discerning is about where is this intuition coming from? Where are these messages coming from? How can you have that skill and muscles to discern, is this just some like personality voice, or is this actually, God, the angels, your higher soul talking to you? Can you give us a little insight on, you know, how you determine that?
Yeah, and that's one of the most important things too, is to make sure that we know who we're tapping into or what aspect of self we're tapping into. I think the number one thing that creates a strong connection with intuition is making sure that we're coming from a place of neutrality. Most likely, it's not going to happen during times where we're emotionally charged. It might be a little bit tainted. It may also not come in the way that our ego feels comfortable. It might be that gentle tap on the shoulder that is a bit more uncomfortable, but it kind of sits as truth, right? So when we don't have an attachment to what the answer is, and when we also feel pushed in a way that is loving, but kind of beyond our comfort zone, that's most likely going to be something that is based in truth and based on, future insights of where we're actually able to go.
Mhm. Have you ever had those times where you heard like the little tap tap or the nudge, but then
Yeah.
didn't quite listen, and then later it turned into like a whack whack?
I call it the cosmic 2x4.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Had
I
many of those.
I try my best to like get it the
Yeah.
first time.
I prefer to listen at this stage, but there's been definitely times where I've fought myself, and in hindsight, I was like, I wish, but it's all part of the learning curve. And also that, I guess skill of building up discernment within yourself too.
Mhm. And how do you guide people to tap into their own intuition?
So the first thing that I invite everyone to do is actually kind of, destroy and uncreate the idea that you need to be psychic or intuitive. Like the truth is everyone has intuition. The truth is everyone can access their intuition. It is sort of like a muscle that requires trainings, and it also requires a little bit of, tools and techniques to get into it efficiently. But other than that, there's nothing that requires you to be like special or chosen or, you know,
The chosen one.
exactly, exactly. So if we're ready to let go of the belief that, you need to be special or advanced or spiritual to be intuitive, then what we can do is ask our body to actually show us where to dial that in. And a lot of the times what I love to do is guide people through a process of, connecting to the light. And we could kind of do a little bit of an experiment too, if you feel open to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
Experiential, experiential. But
Let's do
do you
this.
want to like tease it out a little bit longer?
I'm down. I'm down. Let's make it juicy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So we will be doing something very cool in about 10 minutes. So stay tuned.
Good,
Where
good.
do people get blocked or fearful when it comes to their intuitive guidance?
So I think that, I've read hundreds of different soul records, imprinting, and done a lot of healing session. There are some really common denominators and common themes. One is when we have that little voice and we have that truth, but we override it because we want to make people happy or because we're still sort of in a people pleasing pattern. Any of that early childhood programming that says it's not safe to have our own opinion or for other people to
Hmm.
disagree with us.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing that, I always recommend working on first is all the times where you've chosen to silence yourself in order to keep the peace or in order to make people happy or in order to kind of just fit in. Like realistically, intuition isn't about, being average or um what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not about being relatable. It's really super intelligence, right? So we have to be okay with being willing to stand in our power there. The other things that I would see is nervous system dysregulation, right? So again, when we're in an emotionally charged state, it's very hard to tap into our knowing because we might be swayed or we might be highly opinionated based on the emotions we're feeling in that moment, right? So if I had a terrible day and something happened that really just triggered the crap out of me, and if I haven't actually taken time to ground myself, hold space for myself, and I try to tap in, it's
Hmm.
likely that a lot of that chatter that I think is my intuition is actually biased because I'm still invested in seeing it from one, aspect or another.
Awesome. And what, like, how can people really start trusting themselves more?
Mm,
Because, I'll see clairvoyantly, I'll be looking at someone and I'll see that their soul just plop down a message for them and they partially recognized it, but then this other more loud personality, inner child, inner victim, whatever, personality voice, ego voice got louder and then
mhm.
it drowned out that little whisper. So, how do you help people to start trusting themselves more?
The thing with intuition is that it really requires a lens of curiosity and play, right? So we can't go into this like it's sort of like an Easter egg hunt where you don't know where it's going to lead you, and you have to be willing to experiment and go on an adventure. And that also starts with doing small intuitive tests that don't really have like you don't have an outcome. It's not going to make or break you. We're not going to start off by tapping in, should I buy this investment property? Like that's a lot of pressure, right? So if we can start with small baby steps and also go through the motions of being willing to follow through on the answers, regardless of whether it makes sense, then you can kind of go through the motions and get oh my gosh, that's why it was guiding me to do this. So for example, one of the mentors that I trained with many years ago, she had us do an experiment where if you go to the grocery store, you can tap into your intuition. Are these bananas actually organic or are they just labeled organic? And it's actually really surprising. A lot of them are not. Um,
Whoa.
you can also do certain things like when I went to go get dressed for this event, do you want to wear black? Do you want to wear white? Do you want to wear color? Like body, show me what you need in order to feel your best, right? So small things like that, or if I'm going to take my car to work, which way can I go to experience something magical, beautiful, and kind of just be willing to follow through on those things. once you've gone through that and you reaffirm to yourself that, yes, it actually makes sense. And yes, I can follow this, then you can start doing things that have a bit more of a, I don't want to say risk level, but more of like an investment in the outcome, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do you think is the key to asking good questions that are going to get, hopefully
Mhm.
accurate answers?
I would say that, so there's a couple parts to an effective question. First, we want to ask where the destination is. So, Tiff, can you give me an example of something maybe, let's say somebody wants to pursue their life purpose, or give me an example of somebody who might need to know what life path to take. Like, what would they be looking to do?
Well, why don't we actually get a real life volunteer?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That would be amazing. Let's do that.
Okay.
So
Amanda, you
somebody
are
with
up.
a purpose. Yes, let's do that.
How did she beat Belinda?
I don't know.
Is Belinda still here?
She
Is
is.
Belinda still here? She is. Okay.
Oh yes.
Sorry, Belinda.
No worries. I didn't.
Hi,
I didn't.
Amanda. Thank you for being our volunteer. I'm excited to play with you.
Me too.
She's gonna check her bananas.
Yes.
But go ahead. What's your question, Amanda?
So
Uh,
tell me in a couple words, maybe, what are you facing some sort of like trajectory or crossroads that we can help you with?
Yeah, there's two offers that I want to launch, and I'm not sure which one to do first.
Okay. And so we have the outcome, right? So think of your GPS as like a Google Maps or a GPS, right? We're programming it with the destination we want. We want, what does your happy end result look like? Does it look like the most profit, the most impact, the most fulfillment, combination of the both? There's no right or wrong answer. We just need to know what means the most for you.
Impact and financial reward, both.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, those are important. Okay. So profit and impact. Okay. So that's the destination, right? We're telling the Google Maps, we need the highest, highest, most profitable, most impactful one. And we have two options that we're currently considering to get there. Now, the next thing is we have to ask about the bridge, right? So the bridge means, do you want toll roads? Do you want the shortest road, or do you want the scenic road that is like beautiful, but a little bit longer? Do you want fast? Do you want fun? Or do you want simple or something else?
Now and fun.
Now
Can I
and
have
fun.
both?
Yeah, and when
More,
you said
I'd lean
fun,
more
do you
towards
mean,
now because I've had a lot of fun, but
okay.
now for both of those would be good.
And what do you mean by now? Do you mean like,
Now, as in making the decision and making it happen, like things are ready to go. I need. So now, as in making the decision and then getting it out there as close to now as possible, not delaying anything anymore. There's been a lot of
okay,
delays.
so time is of the essence to get this launched, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So now we know the bridge between it. And the reason that that's so important is I can tap in to see which one is going to create the most profit and the most impact. But then that might require me like bending over backwards, burning myself out. If that doesn't match the journey we want to take,
Got
that
you. Yeah.
affects our answers. You know what I mean?
Yes, totally. So
Well,
now, but flexible. Okay.
perfect.
Now,
Okay.
but go with the flow. I need to obviously trust the divine flow. I get that. But
Okay,
if I can
cool.
program it in closer to now, would be great.
Perfect. Let's do that. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to just ask you to connect to the light. So just see, sense, know, bringing in source light from wherever you feel like that sense of home. Okay, and bring it all the way through your entire body until it goes into the center of the planet. And anybody else that has an intention can do this with us for sure. Okay, and then let it bounce back up into you so you're connected above and below. And just go ahead and expand your energy field for me. 360 degrees around you so we can see things from the observer from the highest altitude. Okay, perfect. So in your head, I'd like you to label them like offer A and offer B, okay? And
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to get your body to show you what a yes feels like. Does it feel heavy or light? Or heavy or light, yeah.
It's more like a tickly feeling.
Okay.
More of a kind of a light excitement around the solar plexus.
Like a buoyant, like a fizzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does a no feel like?
More of a sinking feeling.
Heavy, like dead weight. Yeah, for me, it feels always like I'm being pulled into my seat almost when it's a no. Okay. So now what we're
Yeah.
going to do is a bypass statement. So we're just going to make sure it's just an extra safeguard. So if you were to bypass your ego, all distractions, all distortions, all attachment to the outcome, what we're
Mhm.
going to do is ask your infinite self, who has already gone through all those paths, is path A the fastest, most fulfilling way to give you the most profit and impact?
It feels like a mix of both, which is really weird. So I'm just trying to say, can you be a bit clearer, please?
Okay, that's no problem. We're going to feel into option B real quick, and then we can always ask some clarifying questions. So again, bypass the
Okay.
ego, any distractions, any attachment to the outcome. Infinite self is path B, the fastest, most fulfilling way for me to create the maximum amount of profit and impact simultaneously.
I'm actually feeling fear come up for that one.
Okay,
So it's uncomfortable and feels more uncomfortable than the first one.
okay. So what we're going to do is move the fear, just ask the fear, like, thank you for showing yourself. And we're just going to get that out of the way. Okay. Let's just see if we were to move the fear out of the way, because again, heavy does not necessarily feel fearful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes fear could also be that because that's a big thing that's coming up, like it's a wow thing. So we just want to ask some more clarifying questions. So if the fear can get out of the way, if you were to follow down path B, would that lead to a future that you are absolutely happy about or happy with?
I can feel fear, and then it's gently going to a sinking feeling. So I would say that's probably going to be a no.
Good. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to collapse that timeline. So just imagine that like timeline just melting back into your heart. Because again, anytime we have major life decisions, we don't want to leak our energy into something we're not choosing. Okay. And if you were to go down path A, truth, would that lead to a life or a future that you're happy with?
It feels a little bit more aligned for sure.
More aligned. Okay. And so if I heard you correctly in the beginning, you said there was like a little bit yes, no. So what I would recommend for that is asking some further questions. So is there anything from offer B that I need to just steal and move over into offer A? Like commit to offer A, but bring this one thing over. Or is there any other small tweak you need to make it a full F yes?
Yeah, it's saying that offer A, but you can split offer A into two sides. One can be more business and one can be more goddess. So it doesn't have to be all of that second one, which is B.
Boom.
You can just bring that element of B in if they need it and if they want it. That's the answer I've just got.
I love that. And how does that feel in your body?
That feels like a relief because
Good,
I was
good.
here's what people keep asking me for. So in my mind, I'm going, oh, well, this is
Yeah.
what people need, and this is what people are asking me for.
Yeah.
But I've already done things along that line, and it's been really well received, and the formula's
Good.
already there. It's been tested already. So
I'm so stoked for you. Good. Good. Yeah, thank you so much. So that's exactly it, right? And anytime we need to ask some clarifying questions, we just have to get creative. And the biggest hack I can share with any of you guys is if you get stuck and you don't know what to ask for next, again, just ask your infinite self, okay, what is the next question I need to ask here to get that aha moment? And it can also give you a flash of insight on like which way to steer the ship.
yeah, sometimes we forget to go to the basics of actually asking ourselves and tuning into the body. I just expect them to come, and sometimes it's not always so clear. So thank you for that extra clarification. That was cool. Thank you, Melissa.
My pleasure, Amanda. My pleasure. Thank you. That was fun.
Wonderful.
That gets me so excited.
Yes.
Trust me, I have built out so many offers in my early entrepreneurship where I went through and I launched the program and I wrote all the things, and I didn't even ask myself if it would be profitable or if it would work or if it would be like enjoyable, you know? So if we can take 5-10 minutes each day to just ask those things before we start them, you know,
Mhm.
then we can really double down on our commitment because we know it's leading somewhere. It's not just this endless, you know, scavenger hunt.
I One of my favorite questions is, "And when would you like me to do that?"
I love that. I love
But
that.
by
Yeah.
when? So that
Yeah.
I'm not just spinning my wheels until, it's
All of the
the right
direction.
time.
It's a good, no, it's a good accountability piece for sure. And the
Mhm.
thing is, like, past, present, future exists at the same time, right? So if all we have those versions of us that have done it, we might as well just tap in and be like, hey, by the way, did that thing work out? Like, do you recommend it? And if it's not a 10 out of 10, then we have other places to give our energy.
Mhm. Well, she has much more info and insights to give to you. So start with grabbing her free gift. I put the link in the chat. Will you tell us about him?
Yes, indeed. So we have basically it's a legally I cannot say diagnostic because I'm not a medical practitioner and this is all for our personal development and growth, but it is essentially a blockbuster discovery call. So if you feel like you're stuck and you need some guidance and you have difficulty tapping into it, we are going to hop on a call and do an energetic scan to identify where that is in your body or energy field, what stories are attached to it, and what you need to work through in order to create that really big amplified activation of your gifts, because again, the intuition, it exists, it's within all of us, and I will show you how to activate it.
So you got a free blockbuster discovery call for 30 minutes.
Correct.
But I also see um that for your VIP. Is it a longer call?
It is. So it's slightly
Okay.
different. So the blockbuster, and thanks for the clarification. I sometimes get so excited by the vibe of the conversation that I get derailed from the offer. So the blockbuster is more about your intuitive blocks, your spiritual blocks, or anything that is in the way of you getting clear and accurate guidance on demand. The VIP gift for the others is a free money wounds discovery call. And in this, what we're going to basically do is tap into your soul's records and identify the number one abundance block that is in the way of you being able to monetize or get paid to live your purpose. Because we're all about accelerating people to, share their zone of genius. And I want you to be able to also get paid accordingly. So this will be very similar, but more on the financial abundance side.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. It was such a pleasure, and I had so much fun with you.
Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you.